Maybe you're wondering what occurred in the 1940s. This decade was filled with sadness, patriotism, and the beginning of a new era of America's dominance on the world stage. This decade is regarded as the war years because it marked the start of World War II and left an indelible impression on all but the youngest Americans that lasted the rest of their lives. Hello everyone, and welcome to a brand new video on the channel. Today we are going to talk about the biggest events that shaped the 1940s. Before we get started with the video, don't forget to smash the like button, share the video, and subscribe to the channel. Now let's get started. Number 10. The Big Bang Theory. The Big Bang Theory is the dominant explanation for how the universe came to be. The Big Bang Theory is the most widely accepted cosmological hypothesis for explaining the universe's origin and evolution. Scientists embrace this idea, which argues that the cosmos began as a dense, hot, and small singularity. A huge expansion occurred 13.8 billion years ago, forming what is now known as the planets. Number 9. Bikinis were introduced. At Piscine Molitor, a popular swimming facility in Paris, French designer Louis Vuitton debuts a daring two-piece swimsuit. Micheline Bernardini was the face of the new bikini trend. The new skimpy garment, the bikini, became a summer standard for women in the 1960s, shocking many Americans. This swimsuit has served as a battlefield for the female figure. During the summer following World War II, Europeans and Americans rejoiced, and Weird named the two pieces after the nuclear testing location at Bikini Atoll in the Pacific's Marshall Islands, which he anticipated would be particularly explosive. After World War II, sun tanning had become the trendiest new fashion trend, and young women would wear as little as possible to acquire the bronze tan they desired, which inspired Louis Vuitton. Number 8. Adolf Hitler commits suicide. Adolf Hitler commits suicide at his underground bunker in Berlin after Germany unconditionally surrenders to World War II by swallowing a cyanide capsule and shooting himself in the head. He was with his wife, Eva Braun, when he committed suicide. There are several theories as to why Hitler committed suicide, but one of them is that he chose death over being punished for his crimes against humanity. Adolf Hitler is one of history's most despised individuals. As the head of Nazi Germany, he oversaw both World War II and the Holocaust, which killed over 40 million people. He was a member of the Nazi Party, which was built on racist anti-Semitism, expansionist nationalism, and anti-immigrant animosity. Hitler was a great and captivating speaker who drew a large crowd of Germans longing for change. Hitler was obsessed with dominance and Germany taking over the globe, which is why he started World War II. Number 7. Franklin D. Roosevelt dies. Roosevelt was the 32nd President of the United States and the only one to serve more than 2 terms. His third and fourth terms were dominated by foreign policy concerns, and it was during this time that the United States entered World War II. Roosevelt led the organization of the nation's troops and resources for worldwide war during the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor. During the war, Roosevelt's health began to deteriorate, and his doctors disclosed a range of heart diseases, high blood pressure, and bronchitis. While sitting for a photograph in Warm Springs, Georgia, Franklin collapsed and died of a cerebral hemorrhage, and Vice President Harry Truman took the oath of office the same day. Thousands of Americans were heartbroken by their president's passing, which came as a surprise to many. Franklin passed away in April 1945. Number 6. The first computer built. From 1943 to 1945, the ENIAC electronic numerical integrator computer was created. It is the first large-scale computer to run electronic speeds without being slowed by mechanical components. The advancement of the ENIAC was critical to igniting a revolution in computer science and electrical engineering. The computer dates back to World War II, and it took approximately a year to develop and 18 months to build using $500,000 in tax money. The military used the ENIAC for computation of hydrogen bomb design, weather forecasting, cosmic ray investigation, thermal ignition, and wind tunnel design. Number 5. Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. The Warsaw Ghetto was Germany's largest Jewish ghetto. The Warsaw Uprising began in August 1944, led by Antoni Kruszyl, and was supported by the National Armed Forces and the Communist People's Army. Only a quarter of the population had access to weapons, fighting against German soldiers equipped with air forces and artillery. This Jewish ghetto was surrounded by stone walls, barbed wire, and armed guards. and anyone discovered attempting to flee was shot on the spot. The Nazis rationed food delivered to the ghetto, and sickness and famine killed thousands each month. German armies seized control of Warsaw, razing it to the ground. Many people were slain during this revolt. Today, the city of Warsaw has opened the Warsaw Rising Museum, which attracts visitors from all over the world. Number 4. Anne Frank and her family went into hiding. Anne Frank was a young Jewish girl whose family moved to the Netherlands from Germany when Adolf Hitler and the Nazis took control and made life tough for Jews. Frank and her family fled into hiding in a hidden flat beneath her father's German business. During her time in hiding, Anne kept a journal, which was originally published in 1947 and has been translated into nearly 70 languages. The diary describes the events of the Holocaust. In the secret apartment, Frank's family was joined by Otto's business associates and others who were Jewish. The group lived in constant fear and would never leave the small apartment, which Frank referred to as the secret annex. During the day, they had to remain silent in order to avoid detection. Anne spent her time in hiding, writing in her diary. The Gestapo, Germany's secret police, discovered the group in August 1944. Anne and her sister were deported to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp in Margau, where there was a lack of food, it was cold and wet, and contagious diseases were prevalent. Number 3. The Japanese attacked Pearl Harbor. Pearl Harbor is a United States naval base in Hawaii. It was unexpectedly attacked by Japanese forces in 1941, when hundreds of Japanese fighters descended on the base and destroyed American naval vessels, battleships, and airplanes. Many Americans, including civilians, were killed or injured. Following this attack, President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war on Japan. The reason for Japan's attack on the harbor was that Japan wanted to build its own empire throughout the 20th century. But after its war with China, Japan ran out of natural resources and had to look elsewhere for assistance. The attack on Pearl Harbor was devastating, and the United States prepared for total war against Japan. For nearly 4 years, the United States Navy sank all Japanese aircraft carriers, battleships, and cruisers involved in the attack. The United States and its allies, including Britain, France, and Russia, eventually won the war, defeating Japan and its allies, Germany and Italy. Number 2. The invention of the Jeep. Some of us enjoy big and powerful vehicles. So let's take a trip down memory lane and learn about the history of this awesome Jeep vehicle. In 1940, the Jeep was used for general purposes in World War II, and the only two companies that provided this car were American Bantam and Willys Overland. The Jeep was used not only on the battlefield but also as an ambulance to transport wounded soldiers. The Jeep was fast, agile, and tough on the battlefield. It could traverse any terrain and, if it became stuck, was light enough for soldiers to lift. It carried anti-tank armaments that could be deployed swiftly, and it could attach a machine gun for fighting troops. After the war, Jeep started generating renewed popularity and creating various new designs. It started exploring more recreational settings and launched 7 unique models. Number 1. World War II. Hitler's invasion of Poland in September 1939 pushed Great Britain and France to declare war on Germany, marking the beginning of World War II. An estimated 45 to 80 million people were slain, and 6 million Jews were exterminated in Nazi concentration camps as part of Hitler's evil Holocaust. This war was among the worst international conflicts in the world's history. The fighting and bombing in this war wrecked countries and Europe's economies. The entire cost of destruction is expected to be over $1 trillion, leaving several European countries to suffer in recovery. This war caused a lot of struggles. Food was short, medical care was also scarce, children could not go to school, and the only fashion at this time was military clothing. World War II took place from 1939 to 1945 and was between the Axis powers of Germany, Italy, and Japan, battling against the Allied forces of Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and the United States. Hitler believed the Germans were superior, prompting him to become preoccupied with creating an allegedly superior Aryan race. That's a wrap on the video. I hope you liked it. If you did, let me know by giving it a thumbs up, and do not forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. See you next time.